Digital point-and-shoots and cameras and cell phones have made photos quick and easy to take, so you can easily overwhelm viewers with a lot of photos that don't tell a story. By knowing the basics of photography, you can tell more compelling stories. The following 3 elements can help you reduce the amount of photos you'll have to take to make memorable photos. Light is the first element because without it, photos wouldn't exist. Composition is the second element. With composition, you can make the subject of your photos more clear. A moment is the third element. It's probably the most difficult to master because moments come and go fast. The word photograph comes from a Greek phrase that means drawing with light. To draw with light, it has to be there in the first place. In other words, you can't take a photo in a completely dark room. There are many different kinds of light. Take your camera off of auto mode and learn to adjust your camera manually with the shutter speed, lens aperture, and the ISO level. Make it a reflex so your photos will look bolder and better. The shutter speed controls how fast you can take a photo. For example, if you want to photograph a baseball player sliding into the home plate, you would want a fast shutter speed to stop the batter in action. A long shutter speed would make the batter blurry. The aperture controls a different kind of blurring called depth of field. If you're still at that seat in the baseball game, you can keep your depth of field at a low number and the baseball player won't get lost in the crowd. Many sports are played after dark or inside. Even with the artificial lights, there isn't usually enough light to take good quality photos. The ISO level is an artificial way to make images lighter. Still, whenever you can, keep the ISO number low because higher ISO makes images less clear. Master how to set your camera, then work on your composition. There are many different artistic guides to consider when framing your subjects. A good place to start is backgrounds. The less clutter, the better. An obvious snapshot is one that has the subject in the center of the frame. It's okay with radial things, usually flowers, but the rule of thirds is a common guide to follow. The lines and intersecting points are where our eyes are naturally drawn. You can have a shot lined up, and then you may just be waiting for a moment. A moment is the most influential element of a photo. You can tell a story, ask a question, or make a statement with a moment. A good question to ask yourself while setting up a shot is, what is it about this photo that will make people care? Photos can capture serious problems, and they can get you in a lot of trouble. A moment can be difficult to capture if you're in a situation that you can't control. Before you go to an event, you should prepare yourself for moments by making lists of any possible shots. In conclusion, whatever you take photos of, they can be made better. Don't be afraid to take a lot of photos. Just take control of your camera by using the manual controls to capture light. Lead your viewer's eye through the frame with composition and watch for the peak of emotion in a moment. Help the world make more sense and tell stories with your photos.